Hi, it's Tanya and it's Talk About It Tuesday. I just want to talk about the state of education right now. In the state of Texas, I saw that there was a task force being created to kind of figure out why teachers are leaving the profession. And it's really disturbing and sad at the same time because those of us who decide to be teachers have such a passion and a drive and a desire to have an impact on education and on the lives of the learners that we have the opportunity to touch. And so what I've noticed over the last several years is that teaching is no longer a safe profession. It has become a profession that pretty much needs hazard duty pay. When you go in, you just never know what you're going to get. And I'm not talking about in inner city schools. I'm just talking about in schools across the country, whether you're in the inner city, you're in the suburbs, you're in the city. The classroom is no longer a safe space. There was a time when teachers in America were treated as people of authority, as a profession that was honored and revered and valued. But now it almost feels as though it's a profession that you're indispensable, like you're disposable. You're disposable. If you walk out, we'll get somebody to replace you the next day. Well, here we are in 2022. That's no longer the case. Teachers are walking out on their contracts and saying, I've had enough. My life and my health is worth more than the stress and the anxiety of coming in this classroom, of dealing with unruly students and either leadership that doesn't support or stand behind their teachers. And that sometimes is not the administrator's fault because it's coming down from the district or it's coming down from the state. Well, now we've created this mixture of there's no discipline for students. They're kind of, go send them to the principal. It's go talk to them and they're back in class and they're disruptive and they're destroying the atmosphere that would be conducive for all students to learn and engage. And that's disheartening when you went to college to get a degree or get the education that you need for a profession, and then it's disregarded. And the behaviors in the classroom of students, the language, the profanity, the blatant disrespect, it just has become too much. The consequences for those behaviors, you may get some kids sent to ISS or a day, but they come back and it's the same thing. So when I was young and I watched Lean On Me, and I was like, wow, I want to be like Joe Clark, because he was the principal from the inner city and he made all the parents mad and they went through the school board. It was this big thing. So I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that movie. If not, take an opportunity to look at it. So I'm thinking maybe we should go back to some of that where leaders lead and students are kids and they follow the instructions of the leaders, their teachers and their administration. When I started, teaching, it was like the principal, no one wanted to go to the principal's office. Now it's like, okay, send me. It's not that big of a deal. I'm going to come back and then I'm going to, cause you that much more chaos in your classroom because I know that there's nothing that's really going to happen. So I think we need to shift the environment of the classroom, especially I'm coming off of COVID where kids are back in school, and pretty much for 2 years they were unstructured, had free reign to do whatever they wanted to do, to be in charge of their learning. But we all know that kids need parameters and they need people to hold them accountable. That's how they grow and that's how they develop discipline and learn. But if there's no one holding them accountable or creating that environment for them, then it's just complete chaos. And if the teachers feel like their hands are tied and there's nothing they can do, then what is it left for them to do but leave? So some suggestions. Why are teachers leaving? Because they don't want to be on the news. They don't want to have a chair thrown at them or a kid coming in and destroying the class, or it's just so much that's going on inside of the classroom that doesn't make the news, and you would think that it's just the inner city schools because that's what you see in the media, but it's not. It wouldn't be a state or national problem if it was just the inner city. Think about that. Teachers don't feel supported. Like, I get dressed, I get excited, I come into class, and it's like a war zone when I get to my campus and having to deal with, the behaviors and the disregard for the quality of education is just profound, from starting with the little ones all the way up. And what they're realizing is that they have transferable skills. Like, teachers are like, if you want to say that they're like taskers, they are. There's so many things that they have so many transferable skills, and they're realizing that, I would rather try to create a different lifestyle than continue to work in utter chaos and not feel safe in what I'm doing. So if you want, those of you who are out there in positions where you can make a difference in the lives of teachers, speak up for them. If you're doing class walkthroughs and all of those things, it's just not that teachers are not teaching and they don't have classroom management skills. It's just that there is complete to utter chaos and a total disrespect for the teaching profession. So if you want teachers to stay, it has to come from the top, and you have to change the outlook and how education and the world treats our educators. Start there. Start by implementing more discipline and more consequences for those who are causing the chaos and driving the teachers away. It is too much. Anyway, that's just my little spill on why teachers are leaving in the state of our education here in 2022. It's a very sad day for educators because they have trained and love to do what they are passionate about doing, but the environment is just not safe and or conducive for students and our teachers. So it's time for there to be a shift in the mindsets of what is quality education, not only for students, but also a safe environment for our educators. I don't have all the answer. Those are just my little 2 cents. But if you're hearing me, make sure that if you're in a position to make some changes, that you're speaking out on the behalf of the educators, or we're going to find ourselves in a situation where looks like we're heading where you don't have certified educators inside the classroom and you can't even get them to come and sub. Where teachers are not coming out of retirement to fill in the gaps because it's just a hostile environment when they come on those campuses. So who would choose that? And people are making choices. So choose to support our teachers if you are in a position to do that. If you're sitting on the board and you're a board member, speak up for our teachers. Get the resources needed in order to create an environment where teachers can teach, and that's what they get the focus on, and bring the joy and the love back into education. Otherwise, it's going to be a sad day and continue to be a sad day in education for educators, as well as for the quality of education that's provided to our students. Okay, that's just my 2 bits. I'm Tanya, and it's Talk About It Tuesday. I look forward to sharing with you again soon. Until then, enjoy spring break and have a blessed week.